Okay, so this is the popular traditional theory for the Revelation timeline and the opening of the seals. So mostly everybody, according to what I've seen in different end times eschatology groups, has been led to believe that the fourth seal is where the Great Tribulation after the abomination of desolation is going to happen, because the text at the fourth seal describes a time of great trouble. Okay, so in this scenario, the fifth seal and the sixth seal would follow, and then the day of the Lord would begin over here somewhere, starting with the events of the seven trumpets. So according to this theory, the opening of the fourth seal, or possibly maybe the fifth seal, is the beginning of the final 3.5 years over here. And then the end of that final 3.5 year period would be the seventh trumpet over here. All right, so let me show you why this timeline here is false. Okay, so according to this theory, the fourth seal would be opened over here around the midpoint when the abomination of desolation occurs. And that's when the beast would be killing the saints, according to Revelation 13:7. All right, so let's see what Scripture says about when the beast is going to make his first appearance on the Revelation timeline. Okay, so in Revelation 11, which is all about the testimony of the two witnesses, the beast is mentioned for the very first time in Revelation 11:7, which tells us, "And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast coming up out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them." Okay, so this verse tells us that the beast is going to come up out of the bottomless pit and kill the two witnesses after their testimony is finished. So if this here is the 3.5 year period of the testimony of the two witnesses, that means their testimony is going to be finished over here, right before the seventh trumpet sounds. Revelation 11:7 indicates that the beast will be coming up out of the bottomless pit right over here, somewhere in that area, around the time when the testimony of the two witnesses is finished. Okay, and then Revelation 9:1 and 2 gives us a little bit more detail regarding the timing of when the beast comes up out of the bottomless pit. Revelation 9:1 and 2 says an angel comes down from heaven having the key to the bottomless pit, and he unlocks the bottomless pit after the fifth trumpet sounds. Okay, so this tells us that the beast is going to be locked in the bottomless pit until after the fifth trumpet sounds, which is right here. All right. Okay. So if the beast is locked in the bottomless pit until all the way over here, after the fifth trumpet sounds, then how could the beast also be over here, killing the saints around the midpoint at the fourth or the fifth seal? That would not be possible. The text is very clear about the fact that the beast is not going to come up out of the bottomless pit until after the fifth trumpet sounds, and then he kills the two witnesses 3.5 days before the seventh trumpet sounds. Okay, so the beast coming up out of the bottomless pit is, sometime in this area. Okay, so we can see clearly right here that this theory is not in alignment with the message in Scripture. Revelation 13:5 says the beast is going to have a reign of power and authority for 42 months. Okay, this is not breaking news. We all know this, right? So if the beast comes up out of the bottomless pit a short time before the seventh trumpet sounds, over here, and the seventh trumpet, according to this timeline, is the end of the 7-year period, then how would the beast be able to have a 42-month reign of power and authority? I mean, according to this timeline, it looks like he would only be up and out of the bottomless pit for about 5 minutes before the 7-year period is over. Okay? But of course, the seventh trumpet doesn't actually belong over here at the end, because the seventh trumpet is not the end of the 7-year period. The seventh trumpet is the midpoint. Okay? So the beast having a 42-month reign of power and authority, according to this timeline, would not be possible. Okay? Because this is the final 42 months. According to this theory that everybody believes, this is the final 3.5 years, right? The testimony of the two witnesses and the seven trumpets. So if the beast is only coming up out of the bottomless pit right here, how is his reign of power and authority beginning over here for the final 42 months? That doesn't make any sense at all. Okay, so, all right. When we put the events of Revelation in the correct order, we see the 42-month reign of the beast is going to occur after the 3.5 year period of the 7 trumpets and the testimony of the 2 witnesses. Okay, so this tells us that the events of the trumpets and the testimony of the 2 witnesses is going to be the first 3.5 years of the 7-year period, and then the 42-month reign of the beast will follow afterward. Okay, and this also cancels any possibility that Revelation is only describing one final period of 3.5 years. There's a theory out there that says there's no 7-year period of end times events. It's only a 3.5-year period that Revelation describes. Okay, this here proves that that theory is false, because as we've already concluded from this demonstration, it would be impossible for the 42-month reign of the beast to occur during the same 3.5-year period as the events of the trumpets and the 2 witnesses, okay? Because the beast only comes up out of the bottomless pit sometime between the 5th and the 7th trumpet, when this 3.5-year period is just about over. Okay, so when we look at the details of what Scripture actually says about this scenario, we can see that this theory, this timeline of events, is not accurate. All right, so that about wraps it up for this one. In the next video, part 2 of this assessment of the seals and where they belong on the Revelation timeline, we're going to break things down from a different perspective and expose how inaccurate this theory actually is. And then we're also going to take a look at the correct version of the Revelation timeline and what that looks like. All right, so, all right, guys, make sure you check out part 2 then whenever you get a chance, and I'll talk to you later. God bless.